Good evening. We have a great lecture for you. We want all eyes on this one because this one, I told you I'll tell you some events that's going to happen, some things, and draw an outline so you can see past, present, and future, so you'll know what's happening coming up in the very near future. And it's not a beautiful sight when it comes to what's going to happen, but like I always tell you, you're going to have, like in the book of Malachi, where it talk about Elijah, the messenger coming, you're going to have the great and dreadful days. Okay, so I want you to focus more on the great days as I go through this lecture, because God is going to fix it where you're going to escape a lot of different things by knowing how to govern yourself in the next 5 years. It's very important to govern yourself real smartly in the next 5 years, you and your family. It's very important. Now, the name of this lecture is Prophetic Events of America Near Future. Prophetic Events of America Near Future, 2023-2026. Now, I had many people want me to talk about this for a while, and I never wanted to narrow it down until I was quite sure. I gave you 21 years from 2000 to 2020. And I have been with that, showing you the events in the book, Judgment of America and Black Nostradamus on page, on this one on page, the chart on page 93, I think. I have been 100% accurate with that forecast all the way into 2020, and you will see it in that book and the other book as events as good, bad, grievously bad. And always remember, once you get the book, you have to go and look at the history that go with each one of those years to see how things was bad economically, how things was bad in natural disasters. And once you see that, you'll see that the book is 100% accurate. It's very important to know that. Now, what we want to do is talk about the future. We want to talk about the future events from now, 2022 to 2023. Now, we talk about events all the way to things that's going to happen in the year 2043, but I'm not getting into that. I need you to know what's going to happen in the zeitgeist of time. We have what you call a zeitgeist of time. It started in 2016 and it goes into 2026. And right now we are at 2022, and this is where we're telling you the future of America, 2022 to 2026. And we're going to show you a prophecy that's going to talk directly about that particular time. Now let's deal with Isaiah 43:6-9. I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thy hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the peoples, for a light of the Gentiles. Now, why is this important? God is talking to his messenger, but he's also talking to the people of the messenger. So he's talking to this audience. Everybody that believe in this teaching, he's talking to you, because you're going to be a light to the Gentiles. People's going to learn from you. And that's why I have to bring these lectures. I got to bring these prophecies, and I must make it plain. I must make it that you can see it, so when you talk to other people about it, they could be able to see exactly what you're saying, because I'm making it plain for you. It's very important now. And we need to know this one here. Okay, it's very, very, very important. Now, 7. To open the blind eyes. To open the blind eyes. I am the Lord. I am the Lord. Thought. And my name. I am the Lord. Thought is my name. And my glory will I not give to another, neither my praises to graven images. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I'll tell you of them. Now, what I have confessed and told you that thought is my spiritual guide. Thought is giving me this information, showing me how to see this information so I could give it to you. So thought is saying that, behold, former things are come to pass. He's going to show you things that have came to pass. And new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I'll tell you of them. So what's happening? This is the events in America, 2022 to 2023. He's going to let you know. He's going to let you know that. And that's why he has sent me in this organization and the other members of this organization. So we could tell you what's going to happen before it happens. It's crucially important, my people. You need to know this one. Okay? Now, what would I say? I'm going to talk about Russia, China, Iran will war against the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union. Say this again. Russia, China, Iran will war against the United States, the UK, and the European Union. Now some people will, well, hey, that's a bold statement there, Minister, that you're telling us that. Hey, look, certain atmospheres are already in the air. What you need to know is the events that will happen after the other 21 years, and that's what I'm doing. Many people ask me when I finished the 21 years, the 21 years which ended in 2020, this is why many people ask me, say, what do you think the COVID was in 2020? And I did not tell them that it was a natural disaster because it did not come in the area of natural disasters. It came in the area of war, terrorist, economy. And that's what we've been having. In this COVID, we've been having a problem with our economy. Why? Because people could not go to work. Okay? People could not go to certain social functions that bring on certain amount of economics. The whole last year was about economics and a virus. A man-made virus. It was not a regular flu. It was a man-made virus. And that book pointed out, and I was not going to lie to the people and tell them that it was something it wasn't. Yes, you had flus going on in the year 2020 and 2021. You had these things going on like you always have them. But this was not like a flu, my people. This was not like a flu, and you need to understand that. Now let's go on. Why would I say this? And we're going to get into this, but I want to bring up the name first because you guys are very important to me, and I'm going to talk about the individuals that help us out. Antoinette Mike Muir, Philip Davis, Tamia Fennell, Roger Oldham, Marvin Creek, Adrian Herman, Demetrius Change, and Marcia Gordon. Yes, Marcia Gordon. I get a problem sometimes saying her name, and this lady is a beautiful lady to help us build this organization. Marcia Gordon. And thank you, God, for permitting us to have her and some of the others, and Steve Coleman and the mother of the organization, and many others. We thank God for them. And Richard, and the one that, I keep forgetting his name, with Neophytes, with the Neophyte organization that's being blessed by God. And many others that have, Clara Woods. One day I'm going to just sit here for about 10 minutes, just name off for many people that really have been here with this organization. I'm thankful for those individuals. Okay, I'm thankful for. Now, Luke 11, 29 through 30. Now, this is what the lecture is all about based on this scripture here. It's based on this scripture, on these scriptures, okay? This is under the initiate. Now, I want you to understand this now. Jesus didn't write anything, okay? The initiate have wrote this under the gospel from saying that Jesus said this, in which it was just that important. So we're looking at the significance of this. Whether Jesus said it or not, we're looking at the significance of it. And I don't want to get into that Jesus thing, but we're looking at the significance of it because it is in this word, and this is a revelation that God wants you to know. It is a revelation that thought have revealed that's very important. Okay, now what do it say? This is an evil generation. They seek of a sign, but there shall no sign be given it but the sign of Jonah the prophet. For as Jonah was a sign unto the Ninevites, so shall the Son of Man be to this generation. Now we know that the Son of Man is to come in the future. So many people thought, well, that was about Jesus. That was about 2,000 years ago. It was not. That was a future event. And what it is, he told you, or he's saying to you, they are saying to you, it's a sign in this. There's a sign in this. And what was the sign? Because people want to know what the end of the age was, what the end of time was, as they call the end of the age, the dark age. What was the end? When was all this madness going to go away? When people were going to live in peace and harmony on this earth? And this is what was going on. This was the answer. Jonah is a sign. Jonah was a sign to the same time of the coming of the Son of Man. Just study Jonah, and if you study Jonah correctly, you will know what time the Son of Man shall come, or what time this end of this dark age will be, or what time all these things will come to an end. And it's very important. Now, I want you to see that because it's crucially important. Now, where did Jonah live now? Jonah lived in the nation of Assyria in the town of Nineveh. Now, this is mythology. What this is saying to us is that this story of Jonah is mirroring the future. And we got to see this. The story of Jonah is about future. And we have to understand that. That's what it's all about. Once you begin to know that, you'll begin to see how it matches up. Always remember that. Now, Jonah lived in the nation of Assyria. Very important to know where he lived there. He lived in the nation of Assyria. Assyria was the most powerful nation in the world at the time. And Nineveh was the only city area of Assyria. Now, what's so important about that? America, the Son of Man, is going to come to the most powerful nation in the world. That's what the sign is all about. You got to match it up. So the Son of Man must come to the most powerful nation of the world at our time, coming out of the dark age. What's the powerful nation in the world at this time, coming out of the dark age time? The most powerful nation in the world right now is America. Now, what is the oldest city area of America? Jacksonville, St. Augustine. It's the oldest city area. Many people go to St. Augustine to visit that area because it's known as the oldest city in America. Okay? And these are things you got to see. These are signs. And you got to know the signs because it's very important. Okay? Assyria was the most powerful nation. America is the most powerful nation. What's some other thing? Assyria was a warring nation, more aggressive than its neighbor. America is a warring nation, more aggressive than Canada, more aggressive than Mexico, more aggressive than any nation in this world at this present time. Nineveh city was large in landmass, okay? So if that's so, the sign in America, Nineveh, or the city of Jacksonville, in Jacksonville/St. Augustine, must be a very large city in land area. Let's deal with it now, because this is very important. I'm going to bring you a revelation that you need to know. It's crucially important, my people. Now let's look at it. Nineveh city is large in land area. What about Jacksonville? At one time, Jacksonville was the largest city in the world in land area. It was one time the largest city in the world in landmass. Okay? Nineveh had a city outside of it called Calah. Okay, do Jacksonville have such a thing? Okay, Jacksonville have a city outside of it called Callahan. When I seen this, it really brought chills in me, because I was like, what? Jacksonville got a city, which I knew, called Callahan, but I didn't pay much attention to. Nineveh had a city outside it called Calah. You see, the spelling is very similar, and it's 20 miles, about 20 miles outside. This is 20 miles outside, the same thing. Now, let's go a little further, because you need to know this. Now, before I go any further, there's some things I want to show you that's taxi on to this, and you need to see this. And I like Sister Corinthia, I'll show you some drawings, okay? Now, in there, I want you to see in this book, that's why you need this book. I know some have it, but a lot of people have not received this book. Could you see this clear? Could that be? Is that clear? Okay. I want you to see the boundaries of Assyria and America, the similarity, how similar they are. If you look at that, I want you to see also Nineveh. Could they see this one here? Pretty good. I want you to see how Assyria and the area of Florida, the area in Assyria and the area in Florida have that peninsula shape to it. Okay, where Nineveh at. And outside Nineveh, I think you can see this. Outside Nineveh, you got this in Florida, and you got the shape, peninsula shape in Assyria. You got Nineveh here, Jacksonville, Florida here. You got Nineveh here. You got Callahan here. You got Calah here. And this peninsula shape, you got the Gulf of Mexico, you got the Atlantic here. You got the Tigris, and you got the Euphrates River. Down here, you got a lake, and over here, you got a lake area. Okay, these are similar because that sign was very important, that these initiates that wrote this wanted you to know. You need to know these truthisms. That's why I'm bringing you this particular lecture. I always say, you're going to know the things before it happened. You're going to know the past, present, and future. And for ever since July of 2016, this organization have been telling you about the past, present, and future. And you need to see this. It's very important. Now, why am I talking about these kings now of Assyria? I'm talking about these kings of Assyria because they are part of the prophecy. You need to know the area of Nineveh, where Jonah was at, and the area of Jacksonville, St. Augustine, where the Son of Man or the messenger is supposed to be at, it's the same, it's similar. And you need to know what happened in those areas that are similar to the past time of Assyria. See, time repeats itself. We always go in this circle, and you need to see that. Now, in Nineveh, before Nineveh fell, and we're in the story of Jonah, it tells you about Assyria, Nineveh falling, which you must understand, Nineveh is in the nation of Assyria. And we have to know this because we are the nation that Luke 11 is talking about. We are the nation that this Christ Spirit is talking about. And we got to understand that. We are the nation in which this prophecy is all about. It ain't about somebody, no Son of Man 2,000 years ago, my people. It's about now. And if it's about now, I must be able to show you the similarities. I should be able to show you the same similarities that happened in Assyria that's happening in America right now. It's very important. It must match. This is a revelation that was given to me by thought. It must match, my people, who we know as Melchizedek. Some people don't like that term thought as much because they got to get used to it. But the priest of the Most High God that visit me, that we call the Melchizedek priesthood, which is thought. And we have to understand that. Now, Assyria last kings or last rulers. The Syria, you have to match Assyria last rule with the peoples who govern that area of Jacksonville. Okay, you need to know that because it's very important. And once you know the peoples who govern the area of Jacksonville, you know about the events that's happening in America. That's why you hear them talk about Nineveh, but what is it really all about? Not just Nineveh, it's about the Assyrian Empire. This is not all about the Son of Man, the messenger, it's about the American Empire. And we must see that similarity. People, I love truthism. I love truthism, and God don't want you to be deceived. He wants you to know the truth. Because this is a time right now. This is a time right now that it's a need to know what God is planning on doing and how the future is to be seen. It's very important. Now let's deal with it. And I'm going to talk about the 4 last kings of Assyria before it fell. And I'm going to talk about the 4 mayors of Jacksonville before a event happened in America that caused America to fall if America do not heed to God. Now understand what I'm saying. If America do not heed to God. And most people think, oh, America going to do what's right. No, America is messed up right now. And God needs to straighten it up. Okay? Now, let's see what's going on. Okay? One of the kings, Ashurbanipal, is very important to know. This king, I'm dealing with the last 4 kings. Last 4 kings of Assyria before Assyria fell. Okay, now, in that, which governed Nineveh, okay, in that, you got Ashurbanipal. What was so important about Ashurbanipal? Ashurbanipal, he built a great library, and he had homosexual tendencies, okay? Now, I didn't write that in the book because I didn't want to, at the time, and that married then, I didn't want to call him a rocket, so I didn't want to talk about that then. But now I'm talking about it. He ain't in that seat, and I'm just talking about history, okay? I'm talking about history in the location. Now, in that, this king, Ashurbanipal, he was known in history as one that was well dressed, and he'd go marching out the street with a dress on, okay? Now, because he had homosexual tendencies, but he's known to build this great library. Okay, was there anything in Jacksonville, in America, in the Jacksonville area, in that city, similar to Nineveh, that did the same thing? Now, why would you call Jacksonville similar to Nineveh? Jacksonville, if you go tit to tat, Jacksonville will have 100 identification mark. Jacksonville and America will fit Assyria and Nineveh. Now, and I'm going to bring you more closer to it so you'll know. Nineveh was a cow town that became a neighbor town. What about Jacksonville? Jacksonville was a cow town, which is a neighbor town now. Why would you say Jacksonville was a cow town? Because before Jacksonville was called Jacksonville, it was called Cow Ford. Okay? Cow Ford. They used to bring cows from Texas and places like that and bring them to Jacksonville and then take them up the coast. Okay? Now, we got to understand that. It was a neighbor town. Nineveh was a neighbor town. Is Jacksonville a neighbor town? Yes. Jacksonville have NS Jackson. They used to have Cecil Field. They have Mayport. And right outside in the little place in Georgia, less than 10 miles, less than 5-10 miles outside Jacksonville, we got another naval base. Okay, a nuclear base out there. So that fit this area. Okay, now we got to understand that because it's important to understand the similarities, and I'm showing you the similarities. Now, in this, we had a mayor called Mayor Payton. Now, Mayor Payton, which is a good guy, he did good and stuff like that. I'm not taking away from him, but he built a library. He built a big library downtown Jacksonville. He remodeled this big building and turned it into a big library in downtown Jacksonville. So you see the similarity there. And he was known to have, now it's very difficult to say certain things like that. I don't, you know, you got to remember, everybody got their shortcomings and everybody got that. But he was known by, I want to say it like this, I ain't putting it on me, okay? I'm putting it on these two individuals. He ran against Glover, Sheriff Glover. And on Sheriff Glover well site, he was beating him up by having homosexual tendencies or being homosexual and all this stuff here. But this young man very wealthy now. He has his family now. He wasn't on anybody. Mel Payne wasn't on anybody. But then Mel Payne ended up there. I guess the city fathers and other people in the city got him to get married and stuff like that and raise a family, and he did that. Because this guy, Asher Benapal, he liked the women's and men's, okay? And so this guy here, you know, whatever he did in the past and whatever Glover said about him was some truth in it, and some of the people in City Hall said, because I went to ask some questions to see whether that was right. And some of the sisters said, you know, so I left it alone. So I don't want to beat down on no Mel Payne now, because homosexual is not what this is about. This is about to show you the future. This is about to show you the similarity and that it was talked about in the Bible. That's what this is about. So let's don't get too deep into that other part so we can see what's going on. After that, Asher Taladian, and when you see this, you know, because I've been going over these names over and over on my phone trying to get it right. Asher Taladian, he was a ruler that only had 4 years. And the word behind his name about him in history was brother. Not that he was a black man, but he was appeared to be a brother to Ashla Benapal, okay? But the key word behind this, when you look it up, is brother. Now, when I hear brother, I'm going to think of a black guy, a black man, when I hear that word brother, because that's what was resonating in my mind when I seen that word brother, because it's kind of scarce. You can't really find a lot about Assyria because there wasn't a lot written about him. And stuff like that. And the Greeks wrote certain things about him, one Greek historian, but not a lot of details like we gather history now. Now, so when they asked me, when a city council member came and asked me, because they was running for mayor, and they told me, said, well, I've been told that you could tell who's going to win an election and who's going to be next, and I'm running in this race. Will you please tell me whether I can win or not? And before she got going too far in it, I said, what do you want to know? Do you want to know the truth, or you want me to lie to you? She said, I want to know the truth because I believe the people that told me that you had that gift to know. And I told her a black man was going to win the mayor seat. We never had a black mayor before. A black man was going to win that seat. And Alvin Brown was that black man. Now, you got to understand, you know, when you a messenger and you come and you ain't seen like somebody of those big boys of these, you got these big old churches and these big this and that, you know, they hear you, but then they don't hear you. So you got to keep hollering, keep on prophesying until they get the message. And they got the message. They realized that the brother was right, because you had a lot of preachers came to me, some big preachers come to me and say, you sure, Armstrong? You sure? I said, I ain't changing it. I said, I'm not changing it. It's it. And Mel Brown won. He won. Alvin Brown won that. And I told them that he will only be there 4 years. So why would I tell them that he will only be there 4 years? Because this here is repeating the history in America, my peoples, and thought gave me this revelation to give to his people. It is in the book, and had me to put it in the first chapter of this book. And I had a scholar with Tinder came to me and told me, say, you know what you done? I said, I'm just here trying to write a book. Say you have taken Assyria in America and you have matched it up, and nobody else have ever done that. They're always trying to take Rome and match it up with America. You have took Assyria and showed all the points So you need to be pat on the back. But you got to understand, when you're author and you first started out and you got a book, you're not focusing on all that. All you focus on is getting that book out there and doing that book signing. Okay, now I realize what I have. Okay, now we got to understand that. But what's next? What's next? See, this is very important. What's next? Okay? Sincere Rosh Kin. Sincere Rosh Iskin. Okay? Now, if you could say these names a little better, please do. Okay? Because I've been working on them. Okay? And I still ain't got them totally where it need to be. And when I was squeezing the phone, trying to get these names right, even they said, well, you can say it this way, you can say it that way. It's not really sure which way you could really say it. I said, oh Lord, what help is that? But I went with it because I need it. Okay, now let's deal with this. In this time, this person, you're going to have civil unrest in Assyria at that time. That means at the time of this mayor, between 2015 and 2023, you need to understand that you're going to have civil unrest. Okay, because that's what the atmosphere is going to bring, because they say it's going to be a sign. As Assyria, so shall it be in America. As America, so was it in Assyria. You need to see this. You need to see this. Now, what happened during the time of the next mayor, Lenny Carey? That's from 2015, and his last year is 2023. Because we are coming to the end of this thing. And you need to see this. In the Carey, civil unrest, and let's talk about it, let's talk about it, let's talk about it. Because you already know some of the events that happened. We need to look at the events from 2015 to 2023. And Sister Corinthia was reading, she said that the Washington Post had right about in 2015 about 250 women killed by police officers. 250 women killed by police officers. Now we know they killed the men, but 250 women killed by police officers. So you know you had a lot of unrest at that time. Then you got Breonna Taylor was killed. And let's go up, and they say it's over 5,600 people overall. But let's deal with the other time, because we got to talk about the other. Albright was killed in 2020, and you had a big protest, unrest about that. Then you had one about Abram, Okay. This was he was killed, black man killed in September by a police officer. Okay, I think this is this female police officer. I think this is the one that came in his house and shot him and said that thought she was in her own apartment and all this nonsense, and you've seen it on the news. 2019, you had arrests, you had demonstrations, unrest over economic stability and the government. So you had that happening. Also, you had a lot of Black Lives Matter events that was happening and protesting unrest at that particular time. Also, you had a murder of George Floyd. Okay, May 25th, 2020, you had that. Well, Minneapolis police officer killed them, and y'all know about George Floyd. That's where he had his feet on his neck, and George Floyd was saying he couldn't breathe. See, this Bible and this history that go with it show you that just like you had unrest in Assyria, you have unrest in the United States of America at that time. You got to match it up, tit for tat. See, this is a revelation, because it's taking you somewhere. You need to know that just like Assyria fell back in the day, America is about to fall now if it do not get its act together. America is it don't seem like it's going to get its act together. And right now, you're having problems with the Soviet Union is putting troops on the Ukraine, telling America, look, let me tell you something. The Ukraine belongs to us. You don't come over here on our borders and dictate to us what we do. You came when we put a missile in Cuba. You came and let them know we can't do that. So who told you you got a right to come to Ukraine and tell us what to do? And we got to see that. Fast. We got to see that. I'm for my government, but I'm not for what's wrong. I'm not against anything against the will of God. In America, if God has to chastise America, that's what he's doing. Always remember, when God chastises your country, you chastise too now. So we can sit there and just let anybody, let the government run things any kind of way, let them bring COVID, that get loose out of a laboratory, and then make you think it's like a regular flu when it was made as a biological weapon. Come on now. See, they done put the algorithm on me anyway. Why don't I talk? For 3 years, I've been suffering. And I've been keeping it to myself because of algorithm, because they did not want me to talk to you and tell you these truthisms. But I'm going to tell you something. Forgive me of my French. I don't give a damn no more. That's where I am right now, people. Either I'm going to be a leader and I'm going to tell the truth and suffer whatever the consequence is, or I'm going to go and just turn my tail up and act like some, And I ain't planning on doing that. I'm going to do it till the day I leave here. Tell you the truth. That's what I come here for. To tell you these truthisms. I told you I won't lie to you. A lot of times, when I be looking for individuals to help support the organization, and since they put the algorithm there, we don't have many people viewing us like we should that could be support, help, and I thank God for the ones that we do have supporting. I really thank them. They have no idea. You have no idea, you ones that help and support this organization, and I hope that many more will step up to the plate and help, because sometimes your minister, sometimes you don't know what he be going through. Don't think everything is lily white and lily good on this side sometimes. I want to grow and I want to move this thing forward. But I can't do it when you got a system that tell you you have freedom of speech, but they cut your speech off by putting algorithm or shut it down, where when you had 70,000, wait, you have a video with 70,000, they take it off, and you got to complain, and they put it back, but they got the algorithm there now. See, this is what we're dealing with, and you got to understand that when you telling the peoples the truth, that individual, that organization is it's like a storm coming at them. But you got to weather it. You got to weather it. Okay, you must see this now, because this is very important. I always say, check me. Prove me wrong. This is a lecture. I want you to check me. I really want you to check me. Look at it now, because you need to know this. So at this time of Lenny Carey, 2015, and his last year is 2023, we dealing with what? Civil unrest in the nation. Prove me wrong. Have we or have not had civil unrest at this time? Come on, let's deal with it now. Because George Floyd wasn't no joke. Albright wasn't no joke, and you know this just happened in Georgia. Just been talking about it on the news. The woman that got killed they say she hung herself and all that, and then you had many other ones. You could go and name. I just brought a few names. I didn't want to bring all those dead folks' names up. But go back and do your homework from 2015 to now and see how many people. See how much civil unrest has been with Black Lives Matter and some of the other ones. You had ones that toting the flags and stuff. You had militia groups and etc. You had all the people protesting. You had a lot of civil unrest in this period of time. Now, why is that important? Because I got to narrow it down to this area right here. Now, we have Ashur-ubanlet 2. Ashur-ubanlet 2. Okay. Civil war. What's going to happen at that time? You're going to have a civil war. This is what happened in Assyria at this time now. You had a civil war. You have a civil war, a revolt, and a world war. A civil war, a revolt, and a world war at that time. Now, that time, if you match it to our time, will be at the next leader of this Jacksonville area, which show you the same, which help fulfill the prophecy. Now, who is that particular person that's going to run after Lenny Carey? I put a question mark. Do not know right now. But in July of 2023, he will be moving into that office. In July of 2023. And between July 2023 and 2026, these events is going to happen. America could possibly fall. Now, but understand something. When I say America will fall, you got to understand what I'm saying, because Assyria culture didn't fall right away. The culture didn't fall. The people kept living and going, etc. The government failed. Understand what happened. The government failed. There was a transition of power. That means that there was no king as it was in the past running Assyria. And this is saying there's no president like it have been in the past going to run America. Because at that time Babylon and some other nation came into Assyria, and this showing you that another power, understand now, Babylon was no less than second to Assyria. Now, what nation is second to America right now? Because you need to see this. You got the Soviet Union and China. I wrote it in this book in 2006. It's nothing new. I wrote it in this book in 2006. Now, what we are having today, America is telling Russia, we're going to put sanctions on you. China is telling America, you need to be quiet. Okay, read your news, listen to your news now. That's what they're saying. So you got Russia and China letting America know that we are not afraid of you at all. And we got Biden them trying to push the envelope because the European Union and some of the European nations been talking to him on the phone and tell him, stay strong, or do this, or do that. Hey, them nations ain't about that no more. China is dominating Africa right now, building railways and building dams and building all kinds of things and telling them people that we going 50-50. Telling them to forget about this colonization thing that the European nation did. They ain't helping you. They ain't trying to make you be nobody. They hurting you. They taking your money out of Africa and putting it in the European banks. France and all these nations taking your money. So what you think the Africans gonna do when this thing shake and America is shaking? Think about it now. So what do we need to do to straighten our nation out so this prophecy will not cause us to fall like Assyria? We need to be fair. We need to unite rightly. We need to get European Union, all those people out our business, and we need to run our own nation our way. We need to think about fair labor and not just the bottom line. We need to think about spending money in our people's education, spending money in our people's life and in their career, helping more people get more homes, helping them get more businesses, put money into black banks, build new black banks, that the black Americans, the peoples of color, could want to help America grow. See, when you got a group of people disappointed in this nation, you got a group of people where you tell them, oh, we're going to give you a Supreme Court justice. Black people don't give a darn about that. You already got one up there. And then you wait and give all the other Supreme Court judges, you give them of different races, and then you don't fairly put the black amount in there. Black folks looking at you. Black folks looking at you. You making them broken promises like you made their ancestors broken promises with the treaties. And they saying enough is enough. And then you get a little boule Negro and you put them on the air and try to make black folks think you're speaking for all, they're speaking for all black folks, when these young black leaders that done came up, and a lot of the older ones said they done learned your game and they ain't want to hear it. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do when the nations come for you? See, we want to support our nation, but we want to know the truth that God has, the revelation that God has, so we can make right moves and right steps. And we want you to do the right thing, not because it's based on what you want to give us, but when we come to the table, all of us gonna agree, and it's not what, oh, we're gonna give you that. We who? All of us, the United States. So what you mean, we who? Can't we give ourselves this? Can't we give ourselves so many billions of dollars to start the black economy growing in the United States like it was growing before integration? Come on now. And we got to look at this. I don't want to hold this thing too long, but we got to look at this. Because in the story of Jonah is the story of America. In the story of Assyria repeating itself is the story of America. And you got to see this. That's why it was written in here. Let's get into Jonah, and I want to get into this area here. Jonah 4:10-11. Then said the Lord, thou have had pity on the gourd. Now this is in the story of Jonah, and Jonah was enjoying the gourd because the gourd gave shade over him. What is this gourd thing? What is this gourd? If you study about it, gourd is like a bitter plant, and etc., etc. But what is this gourd thing? This gourd in Jonah writing is Christianity. See, Christianity came in the black man's life and helped gave the black man an opportunity to see what the Eurocentric man was trying to say to him. Okay, gave him opportunity to see the Eurocentric man, God. Okay, his God, the white Jesus the Christ. Okay, it gave him a chance to see that. It didn't help him because in some of the laws it said that when they came to be Christian, some of the American laws were saying that baptism don't release you from your heathenism. Okay, see, you're a black man, and other people could come into Christianity and it released them from their heathenism, but you, I love that. It don't release you from yours. Okay. See, the black folks done got a little smart. The young people done got a little smart now. Okay? And since this COVID happened and they've been out of the church for a while, but it started way before then, the youth is getting even more smarter. And since this computer done came out where they could go and do research and understand about Serapis, Understand about where Pope Innocent had his son to take a portrait of this Jesus. Understand about Mithra and some of this other stuff. Understand how it was important for Rome to make up this story, just like Ptolemy made up the story and gave you an image, that Rome made up a story and used Paul, the Pauline gospel and all that, doctrine and all that to give you a story. See, black folks are aware of that. White folks been aware of that. But black folks getting aware of this stuff now. And they ain't going for it. They ain't going for it. See, you put thought in the Bible, but you didn't tell the black man or the black mass that thought was in the Bible. You had the arts. It's talked about in the Bible, but you didn't teach the black man the arts. You put them in your different fraternities, and the basic thing you let the black man know and the black woman know in their sorority and fraternity that Horus was Jesus. Come on. The gourd is Christianity. For thee which thou had not labored. See, black folks, you didn't bring Christianity. They brought Christianity to you. You ain't labored for that. They brought it to you. Let's deal with it. Neither made it grow. You didn't make it grow. It was already back during the time of Rome. They brought that to you. People say, well, it came a certain way. No. This Christianity, we had the Hebrew doctrine and the Egyptian philosopher, but this Christianity come from Rome, the European. People say, well, Christianity didn't start in Rome, it started in the area of the Mediterranean. Not Christianity. The teaching, the Hebrew teaching, was in the Mediterranean. The Egyptian literature was in the area of the Mediterranean. What they call the thing the Greek had, the Satyrian, was in the area of the Mediterranean. See, do your homework, my people. Christianity brought here through the Eurocentric environment. Okay, you didn't make it grow. Which came up in the night. Why I say it came up in the night? It came up in the dark age, 2,000 years ago. They brought less than 2,000 years ago. They brought it. You had Constantine put his little twist on it. Constantine made Jesus the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Jesus was not the Father, the Son, or the Holy Spirit before Constantine time, my people. Constantine, they say Constantine became a Christian. There's no evidence that Constantine became a Christian. Constantine used Christianity for political means, and we have to see that. No, nothing said Constantine truly said this and that. Constantine said some words, and they say Constantine said the cross was seen, the cross, and that would make him be victorious in war and all that. Come on, I don't want to hear that crap. Tell somebody else that. See, that's what you say when you're trying to push Christianity on people. You will tell them certain things. Don't mean it was true. And you need to see this, okay? Which came up in the night. And shall not I spare Nineveh? Now listen to what the omniscient is saying that God is saying. And shall not I spare Nineveh? So if you're going to spare Nineveh, that means you have to spare America too. Shall not I spare Nineveh, that great city wherein are more than 60,000? Now I want you to follow up on this now. When this revelation was given, understand, more than 60,000, that means more than 120,000. So that means that if it's more than 120,000, it got to be less than 240,000, because it's more than 20. Because then if it wasn't, they have to rewrite it and could not write it in the way that they wrote it. I want you to see the censor. This is the censor. I want you to see this. Because see, when God gives you a revelation, you got to go, and he's saying that these things supposed to match up. You got to go do your homework. So where do I go in the censor and look for this group of people that Nineveh, or that the Son of Man is to come to, and that have a relationship with this Son of Man? What do it say in Duval County? 116.8 thousand. Is that less than 140,000? Yes. Is it more than 120,000? Yes. Everything got to match, my people. Everything got to match. Now, what do it say about that group of people? What do it say about that group of people? It's a person that cannot discern. Listen to that. Cannot discern between their right hand. What's right hand? Political power. Okay? And their left hand, what's the left hand? Your right hand. Social power. Okay? Pay attention now. And much cattle. What the cattle represent? Economics. It represents economics. So what do that mean? These peoples have never been taught the manifest destiny. These peoples have never been taught the 5 divine laws of God. And that's where the black man and the black woman is lacking. That's why we, as hard as heck, to deliver ourselves out of this condition, because the Eurocentric learned it from our fathers. They learned it from ancient Egypt, and then they refused to give it to us. Refused to give it to us. And you got to see this. This is why the story of the prodigal son, that deal with the robe, that's political power, deal with the ring, that's social power, and deal with the shoes on the feet, that's economic power, my people. We got to get this thing right now. We got to understand it. Let's get to the end of this. Okay? Somewhere I read, Lord, Lord, Lord. Somewhere I read, I will show thee thought, which is noted in the scripture of truth. Somewhere I read, none that hold with me in these things, but Michael, which is Lewis. Somewhere I read, the nail fastened in a sure place be removed. Somewhere I read, the burdens upon it shall be cut off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Somewhere I read, thought ye may know and believe me, thought I am he. Somewhere I read, beside me there is no Savior. Somewhere I read, I am the Lord, your Holy One, the Creator of Israel, which is Lewis. Somewhere I read, I am come down to give you a land of milk and honey. All these are scriptures. See, God wanted to deliver America. God wanted to deliver these peoples of color and the Gentiles in America. God wanted to deliver us, but he can't deliver us when we do not pay attention to his voice. We got to walk out of this mess that this government and these religious orders of the past have given us. We got to search for the truth now, people. We got to walk into the 5 divine laws of God in Genesis 1:28, which is the manifest destiny. Black man and woman, if you ain't walking in the manifest destiny, you can never deliver yourself. This is what it was talking about in Jonah time. Had no power of the right hand, no power of the left hand, and no power of the economics, the capital. See, we in a city here. God wants the black man and woman to come back and build those towns and those cities necessary to build his people. He don't want them to build it in and everywhere. He have designated a land of milk and honey. Why do he say a land of milk and honey? I want you to see something. First of all, scripture tell you about the area that Hagar went to, the area of the fountain. Where is the area of the fountain? The area of the fountain is the area where the fountain of youth is at. Okay? If you take Israel, or Jerusalem area, Israel area, and you take Florida and you put it together like this, like that, a certain way, you're going to see a similarity that you've never seen before. Jerusalem is over here. Israel is over here. But from Constantine time and etc., they done propagated this, they done told you that it's over there. Israel is not a landmass until Israel, the man, the prince, come. I'm going to say that again. Israel is not a landmass because Israel came from the word Jacob. And Israel is a prince, king, that is to come at our time. And Israel is the name of the messenger before his name is translated. See, these things we got to have. Because what's happening is that in the arts, you can see the same truth. Because in the arts, Abraham was given by God to number the stars. And God told Abraham that for 400 years your people will be afflicted. And those 400 years in Bible time prophet is deal with 360 days a year. So at that time, when you count number of stars, you got to know that every 18,000 days that an event must happen that go along with history that deal with these people. You got to know this, my people. You got to know this. And the next star will start in 2013, not 2019, my people. Through 2013, the events down here from 2016 to the events down here, the events I would say here because it's this one here. The events from 1816 to 1865 gonna redo themselves, bring themselves up here to where we at here. And you got to see that. That's how the arts work. As above, so below. As below, so above. As above, so below. But they're not teaching you this stuff. They're not teaching you this. They're not teaching this, and you got to know this one. You got to know this stuff. So that means if you have a civil war down here, you're going to have a civil war here. If you have unrest up here, down here, you got to have unrest over here. If you have an insurrection over here, you're going to have an insurrection over here. And not that fake insurrection that they played out on TV. With the black guy running up the stairways, running back up the stairways, and the crowd coming, and he's going to be leading them so they won't go in the main chamber. And all of a sudden, I want you to see TV now. I want you to see television now. I want you to see what television do. And as you see him walking by and stuff like that, there got to be a camera back there, a cameraman, a camerawoman taking the picture. So if the cameraman and a camerawoman taking the picture over this black guy showing that, and you don't see the cameraman, but you see the back of him and you see the people, then evidently that was staged. Where did the camera crew come from? See, we got to start opening our mind. This is common sense. How did we get footage like this? And it's a so-called insurrection, but camera crews are sitting back taking the pictures and everything, and they're not showing you the camera crews, they're not showing you nothing, they're just showing you the action. Come on. I ain't the first one talking about this. You got many on the internet talking about it. Many people who are part of film crews, many people are film producers and stuff like that talking about it. So this ain't nothing new. If you ain't heard it, get on the internet. You'll see it. They'll show you certain footage and they'll talk you through the footage and show you how they do this and how they was doing this with the camera shots. Come on. I told you, I love my peoples. I want to be on this air as long as I can. But if they kick me off the air for telling the truth, or what they call the freedom of speech, and y'all and all of the system, the government, and all of them let it do it, that'll show you right there. America got a lot of repenting to do. America got a lot to answer for. You telling me about freedom of speech, but you put algorithm on the brothers and the sisters and the others, black, white, no matter what color, so they can't say what they need to say? That's not a freedom of speech. That's the stuff that Hitler did. You're gonna treat me like Hitler them treated the Jews in the day? Because I feel like that sometimes. Come on, Jewish people, come on. Where you at with what's right? Because some of you own these businesses and stuff. Let's do what's right now. Let's look at it now. Because when we talking about unrest up here between 2013 and 2063, and we talking about these events that's gonna happen, and we showing you a zeitgeist time, Jonah is talking about the same thing. The dream of Joseph is talking about the same thing. Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar is talking about the same thing. Okay? You got to see this, my people. You got to see this. See, we're at that time in this procession of equinox. This is the earth. We go this way. This is Sirius. It goes this way. When Sirius get here, the illumination that comes to our earth is greater. Just like when Sirius was here, it was greater during the time of Noah. But when Sirius go around this way, and our earth and sun go around this way, this is known as the dark age. This is what they were looking for, to get to the end of time. The end of time is the end of the dark age. That's what the end of time was all about. Not the end of this keep going over and over again. Ain't no ending to this. This been doing it and gonna keep on going for millions and millions of years. But this dark age got to end. And then you got to bring the bronze age in, you got to bring the silver age in, and the gold age in. And you got to see this. This is what the dream of King Nebuchadnezzar was all about. This head of gold, this chest and thing of silver, the legs, the thigh of bronze, and the feet and leg part of iron, part of clay. That's what that was all about. But they don't want to tell you that, because they're going to have to tell you that they've been teaching you lies. Okay? See, truth have to catch up with the lie anyway to get his God back. And it's that time. Now, bringing this lecture to a close, but you need to look at this. Make your donation to Louis Armstrong Ministry at 7536 Jana Lane North, Jacksonville, Florida. Please, people, we need your help now. Please, we need your help now. Louis Armstrong Ministry, 7536 Jana Lane North, Jacksonville, Florida, 32210. Across Rock Incorporated at the same address, 7536 Jana Lane North, Jacksonville, Florida, 32210. Or you could go on Geographical on with your mobile app on the charitable and make your donation to Cross Rock Incorporated. Now you can go to PayPal at ArmstrongLewisJ@gmail.com. That's PayPal at ArmstrongLewisJ@gmail.com. And you can also go to Cash App at SWAU 1954. Cash App at SWAU 1954. And help build Cross Rock Incorporated. We need help to build this organization. We need to build this organization. We need to reach many people. And I'm finding out all the time that there's many people, professional people, non-professional people, they want to know what's happening. They want to know what time it is. They are not being taught these truthisms, and they need these truthisms. And it takes people like you to help get the word out. Please have your friends, your family, etc. to subscribe. Please have them to subscribe. We got a job to do. And I'm going to say this again. We got a job to do. It's for all of us to do this job. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for permitting me to be here this day. Thank you for giving me Sister Corinthia, giving me Devin, giving me Richard, giving me Marcia, and giving me Minister Coleman to help with this, as well as my wife in the background. Heavenly Father, thank you for all that you have done. Father, bless us. Bless us. And I say to my audience and to all the individuals that support this organization, pray that we move this forward. Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Amen.
Yo. A message from Thoth to Hody, Melchizedek, Amias Hermes, Mercury, Quetzalcoatl, Kulakan, who commands. We are telling them once, the rise of the children of Israel. Lewis, that is, bitter.